Hello, everyone. Whether you're watching us on screen or tuning in through your favorite podcast app, welcome back to another episode of X Raised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. My name is Miles, and I'm privileged to host this special episode. Not only are we welcoming back one of our most seasoned guests, a thought leader in sustainability, education, and organizational excellence, we're also introducing a serious new force joining the mission to reshape how organizations grow, improve, and thrive. Yes, we're talking business improvement and optimization, but not the buzzword bingo kind. We're diving into what this really means when it's done right, with frameworks that actually work, strategies that shift culture, and leadership that walks the talk. And leading that charge is none other than Ian Erskine, the managing director and CEO of ACI Global and e-Quip, who's been tirelessly building organizations that not only meet standards, but set them by engineering transformation from the core of how businesses grow and sustain value. He's been gracing our show, unpacking everything from ISO certifications to leadership programs, always keeping us two steps ahead of the curve. But today, he's not alone. Joining the ranks is the brilliant Marcus Batten, an international business leader, innovator, and mentor with over 30 years of experience in complex systems, cyber strategy, industrial automation, and global transformation. He doesn't just manage change, he mentors it and often helps organizations tackle the kind of problems we can't Google your way out of. He has advised executives around the world from high stakes military operations to boardroom breakthroughs. And now he's bringing that energy to ACI Global. Gentlemen, welcome to our show. I'm happy to see you back, Ian. And again, welcome to our community, Marcus.
Thank you, Miles. Welcome again, Miles, and really looking forward to this episode and introducing Marcus. And yes, so really looking forward to it.
Yes, and congratulations on being part of the ACI Global family, Marcus.
Thank you, Miles. It's great fun, actually. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today so we can unpack a timely, powerful topic, business improvement and optimization, what it really means today, why it matters more than ever, and how leaders can embed continuous improvement to the DNA of their organizations. So, I'll start off with Ian. You've championed business improvement through accelerated continuous improvement or ACI for decades now. And I want us to kick this off with a major milestone for your team. ACI Global just welcomed, as I said, a new powerhouse to your leadership team. What led you to bringing Marcus on board? And what strengths does he bring to your mission at a global level?
Well, one of the most important things that Miles brings to the team in ACI Global is his values and his passion in life. And he's very much like the Erskine family, very much family oriented. But very, very specifically, Marcus is a very much disciplined in his nature. He comes from a military submarine background out of the UK. And his experience in international business is probably second to none. He introduced Nokia to Australia, and so his ability to understand communications as a package is huge, and his ability to be able to go into a boardroom, sit with the leaders, and get them to literally go back to basics, understand the basics, and then understand change management, understand foreseeable risk and how that applies to a business and applies to change. And as he now jokingly says, he's now getting used to the little mouse who moved my cheese. And as part of the ACI Global way of doing things. And yes, so that's what he brings to the team, and we're very excited to have him on board.
Yes, well, that's what I call strategic synergy. No wonder you brought him in, Ian. It sounds like a perfect alignment of purpose and expertise. I mean, when your team upgrades someone so valuable, you know you're serious about transformation, especially when he comes equipped with cyber acumen, system logic, and a sixth sense for business optimization. And Marcus, over to you. With your incredibly diverse background from cyber systems to stakeholder alignment, what was it about ACI Global that drew you in? And how do you see your expertise amplifying the company's mission around corporate sustainability and continuous improvement?
Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Ian. The attraction for me for ACI is the old-fashioned concept of total quality management and change management and business transformation were the attractions, where over too many years I've seen businesses and individuals not being groomed and trained in general management and having businesses with frameworks that can buffer and prevent unforeseen mistakes or reduce the ability of there being that. And at the same time, having pre-prepared systems in their businesses to react to changing circumstance and how things move and change. That's become a rarity now amongst the human dilemma of being able to meet change. And ACI Global has the total quality management systems and way and approach that I believe can help over 80% of businesses maintain a position of strength in being ready to meet the changing environments that they'll come up with. Obviously, nothing's ever a cure. The human is always the dangerous part of the game. And as long as boards and directors have the backing of a quality management solution behind them, not just an engineering solution, but a whole of business environment. So there's BMS and there's QMS. Business management solutions supported with a QMS, a quality management solution. And then leaders and team leaders and boards who are generally trained to be able to meet circumstance and in changing environments. That's the strength I bring into the organization.
Beautifully said, Marcus. I love how you framed it. Not just about, fitting into an organization that's wired for ethical transformation. When you match integrity with capability, you're not just improving the business or businesses, you're upgrading the future. And Marcus, I think the future's lucky to have you in the driver's seat.
Thank you. I used to put it to Miles rather like in martial arts, and I've got a background in martial arts.
Oh.
What we used to do there was have a thing called katas. They were systematic exercises that you practiced to do well. And once you were familiar with those exercises, when the environment came at you, you were able to meet that environment and circumstance with a range of the practices you've done to meet circumstance and deal with that opportunity. And it's that framework that is mandatory in all martial arts that needs to sort of come into business to make a business a martial art in some respects.
Well, you're a total package then.
I wasn't in submarines, by the way. I was in diving and bomb disposal. So.
Impressive. Now, both of you are championing something close to my productivity loving heart. Business improvement and optimization sounds great in theory, but let's unpack it together. What does that look like with ACI Global's model? I mean, how is it changing the way organizations achieve sustained success?
Well, just to follow on from what Marcus has been saying, it follows on the TQM, the Total Quality Management package, so to speak, because when it's all said and done, that's everything that we're talking about. And businesses to optimise their processes and achieve sustained success and indeed traction, this is what they have to do. And, I think in the past, people were able and businesses were able to get through simply by their seat of the pants, so to speak. But now, as the environment gets tougher and we're imposed unnecessarily, I might add, with more and more regulation, the business has to come to grips what actually TQM actually means. Now, TQM actually means conforming to a specific process or processes, and by doing that, the organisation basically will become optimised, will actually be in compliance to all requirements and actually achieve its business success. Now, on top of that, as you know, we're a Global Reporting Initiative founding member.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important that we talk about what I call true sustainability. So true sustainability is, number one, we look about the sustainability of the workforce, the people, okay? And this is something where Marcus really brings in that strong strength, as he just mentioned, his martial arts background and the katas and the way of actually generating that back down into a personal or key personal performance indicators, KPPIs, and the ability to continue to drive that, as we said on last week's episode when we're talking about Climb Every Mountain, Julie Andrews' magnificent movie. Remembering to climb your mountain and remembering when you get to the top of the mountain, there will always be another mountain to climb. Don't expect them to get to the top, sit down and relax, and that's the end of the story. No, that's just the start. And I guess that's why I'm so excited to introduce Marcus into the team, because his ability, his experience, but above all, as I said at the very beginning, his passion, his goals, very, very match ACI Global's mission and our vision, and that is key importance for us moving forward.
I see. Would you like to add something to that, Marcus?
I'm keen to actually turn around a way that I've seen disappearing for the last 20 years, where people have not been generally managing their businesses, if you know what I mean. It used to be a case that anyone generally managing in business had a lot of this background in their early training. And unfortunately, we found that's not been common anymore at colleges, schools, and universities. And to be matter of fact, when I was at school in sixth form, we used to be groomed and trained by our teachers in generally running teams. We'd go out on 14-day hikes in the British version of the bush. No, it's not like the Australian one, but you'd be sent off, and the teachers had experience to train you to generally manage things, look after a team, put a framework in place, and then they'd want to check that you had that on a bit of paper as a team leader before you went. And that was just common practice. That's not there anymore, really, unfortunately, in general in society and institutions. And we need to bring that framework of behavior. If someone's going to be a leader, they have to have those sort of coaching and trainings, not just get the title and assume they're it. And so we think there's a lot of that needs to come in, rather than looking at just university qualifications and those things, which don't qualify anyone as a leader or a doer. So we need to bring those frameworks back in, and ACI is able to do those.
I see. Well, I think it's more than just optimization. True sustainability of the workforce, as you said, Ian, is one of the main goals here. This is kind of like a re-architecting success from the inside out by turning capability into culture. And I learned it's less about fixing things when they break and more about engineering organizations that don't crack under pressure in the first place.
Absolutely right. It's not a case of it's a case of practice and being able to measure that you are coaching and you are teaching and you are. I think a great example was that some years back we invented a system to have visual CVs up in a cloud with a framework, so that you could record a barista pouring a coffee and signed off by a team leader. So when someone applied to a coffee shop, the person looking at them didn't just look at the CV, they were able to go and see that within the last 3 months, that person pouring their cappuccino, pouring their macchiato, and have a visual feel. And so those sort of qualitative and total quality management solutions, with the technology as it is today, There are some good virtual environments that can be brought in. And so ACI is really, and the reason I've joined it, it's the foundation of the framework structure for all businesses to be able to take on and start baselining their way of behaving, their culture formation, and their approach to where they go towards the future. So that's the excitement for me with ACI.
Now, Marcus, you've worked with execs across industries and probably seen every organizational hiccup known to man. What's the most common roadblocks leaders face in driving business improvement, and how does ACI Global's model move past them?
There being a common framework of doing business in an organization that isn't individually based on an individual doing it, but it's the people in that team, the leaders, reference a common way of behaving. Initially, whether the way is right or not isn't the problem. It's actually putting a way to start with that is commonly referenced, and behavior and orders and everything are with that in mind. So we don't say to people you have to go down a straight line every time and you'll be beaten up if that doesn't work. We say you have to follow the way that is defined by your business. And if you don't agree with the way, there's a system where you can actually go and talk to your leadership and say, I'd like to do it this way. Is that possible? And then the team reviews it and change manages the way of doing things. But it's an interactive environment for a leader, the people in the team. Just because you have a title doesn't mean you're always right. There has to be a system where the team can interact with you and you can together make changes and move forward. So it's that sort of environment that we're very keen on building. And all businesses need to do it. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the classic culprits: ego, silos, and the good old "we've always done it this way" mindset.
Yes.
It's just refreshing to hear that ACI Global doesn't just slap a band-aid solutions on broken systems, but gets under the hood, rebuilds the engine, and teaches people how to drive smarter. And it's refreshing to hear that plain-spoken clarity, Marcus, because let's be honest, some strategies read more like bedtime stories for shareholders. But this is field-tested, results-driven thinking. So thank you for elaborating on that, Marcus. So Ian, as ACI Global continues to grow and innovate, especially with the synergy you've created with Marcus, what should organizations out there know if they're ready to improve, optimize, and build long-term value? And maybe tell them the first step to start working with you.
It has to come within the organisation. It doesn't matter how good a change management organisation or a learning management organisation like ourselves are. We can't do anything unless they want to do it themselves. Okay, so it has to start from the organisation. And this is why we've started to put on our website, on a number of our pages, there's a little mouse there with a block of cheese. And one of the key things that people have to understand, everyone with the organisation must be prepared for change. Hence the little book, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. It is such a clear, concise message that is provided. And as a contracted third-party auditor, I constantly remind my organisations it is now time, when you get your team members together, get them to go, and it's a very cheap resource to buy. That you can buy the little book, they can take it home and they can read it. It takes no more than half an hour to read. But it's the message which is oh so important, because if people within the organisation aren't prepared, first of all, to understand change, understand the ramifications, and understand they have to do it, because if they don't do it, they will not survive. And I think this is the key message we bring to organisations, where we're not the type of organisation that drags people in, trains them and spits them out at the other end. Our idea of training people is lifelong learning. We bring them in, we allow them to do the training at their own pace. Yes, we set performance targets in place for them to complete. And that's very important, but they complete it in a relaxed performance style base so that when they finish that training, again, they understand, okay, I've now achieved that. I've now got to climb my next mountain.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then again, it has to start with the organization, because at the end of the day, if your team isn't skilled, supported, and aligned, as you mentioned, you're driving just, fast in circles. And I would like to highlight what you would always say, Ian. When you empower people with the right skills, frameworks, and values, that's where long-term value really kicks in. And apparently, it's the key to sustain a purposeful acceleration. So, Ian, thank you yet again for bringing your wisdom and passion to our show. And Marcus, welcome again to the X-Rays family. Your insights today were razor sharp and refreshingly honest. I can already tell this new chapter for ACI Global is going to be one to watch.
Thank you, Miles. Thank you. Appreciate your help.
Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing what sustainable excellence really looks like. It's a pleasure to have both of you.
Thank you, Miles.
Thank you. Thank you, Miles.
All right. To everyone tuning in, if your organization is running in circles, maybe it's time to break the cycle and bring in some real transformation architects like Ian and Marcus. Whether you're a startup scaling fast or a legacy company ready for its next evolution, there's always a takeaway here. You don't need to change everything overnight. You need the right framework, the right leaders, and a commitment to continuous improvement. Connect with both of them or explore what ACI Global has to offer. Head straight to aciglobal.com.au. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, keep improving, keep optimizing, and maybe, just maybe, start thinking like Ian and Marcus. This has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with X-Rays.